live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Loungetime. It has been far too long since we've had a guest on the show. Not since opening week, if you real OG Loungetime fans have been tuning in all year long. Today, I have who I call the NBA nerd. We had him on last year, if you remember, talking Steelers with him.
Yep.
We don't have much of that to talk about this time around, plus I won't torture you with the new coordinator you hired. But we got the one, the only, Joey, my NBA nerd. What's up, buddy?
What's up, bro?
Good to have you on, man.
Also, don't forget, loyal Knicks fan, diehard Knicks fan.
We're gonna talk about the Knicks. We're gonna talk about the Knicks because I don't think I think
my
we met.
Knicks are on that 9-game win streak.
Okay. I mean, I don't remember last time if we talked about the Knicks really much with you. I think we talked a little about just in general NBA.
Right.
But this is probably, guys, more of an NBA episode because this is the NBA nerd here. But don't worry, we're starting off with Super Bowl talk because this is my guy over here with some NFL stuff he's got too. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna kick things off with some thoughts on the AFC and NFC Championship games. You guys are probably wondering my thoughts a little too. This will be quick since we're basically down to two teams. We all know who the two teams are in by now. But I'm gonna start you off, Joey. Let's start off with the AFC Championship thoughts. We actually watched this game at a friend's house.
Yep.
And we watched most of the NFC Championship at a friend's house too. So Joey, what I'm gonna start with you is, what are your thoughts kind of on the biggest takeaways of the AFC Championship game for starts?
I'm gonna say this, and I say this all the time about Lamar, right? You force him east and west, right? You blitz him, you pressure him, you force him to throw, he gets fucked. He gets destroyed.
Yep.
And you saw that in the match with the Chiefs. They forced him east and west. He couldn't go north and they made him go north and south. And he just sold the game. He threw that stupid triple coverage. I don't know why he did do that.
Yeah.
To Isaiah Likely, right?
Yeah, the last one, the last pick.
I mean, listen, the guy is talented. Don't get me wrong, but he has those inconsistency issues where you just blitz him, and I think he ranks in the league worse than blitz against the blitz.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his main issue. He always looks to run, other than he tries to extend the play every time.
Mm-hmm.
I also said during the playoffs, Lamar looked more of a game manager than Lamar Jackson himself.
Ooh,
that's what because they relied on the run game. The defense, they held the Chiefs to what, 17?
17-0 in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you don't win that game with your defense holding them that low.
Yeah, and one of the things I told my friends about this game was that if you were to tell me going into the game, you would hold the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes to 17 points, I would have said, shit, I love my chances. We're going to win the game.
Yep.
But because that offense played so badly, and Lamar had two big picks that were big no-nos. Zay Flowers also had the fumble going in. That was basically the ceiling.
Too,
yeah. That was really just the beginning of the Ravens. But I also heard how undisciplined the Ravens were. I mean, they kept giving them
flags everywhere,
stupid penalties that extended drives. It was 3rd and 12.
The Roquan unnecessary roughness, that was stupid. I don't know why.
Yeah, the one where Mahomes took a hit. Everybody's like, oh, see, Mahomes can take a hit. That's a different subject, cheap bandwagons. You have no idea the hits Brady took in the early 2000s and quarterbacks in the 80s, 90s. You weren't even around when that happened. I
saw a clip of Brady getting hit, and he just stood right back up. I mean, he was against the elite, top of the top. Ray Lewis, who's that Bears middle linebacker?
Brian
Urlacher. I mean, that era was linebacker.
Yeah, and even the Denver game from 2015, I was watching a couple hits, and everybody's like, "Oh, Brady never gets hit in this era."
Brady always.
No, Mahomes is playing in a soft era. Why don't we bring that up?
But and the refs are worse as ever this era. They're really bad with these calls and everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, but the Ravens just look so undisciplined. I mean, some bad timing penalties that extended drives. They beat
This was
themselves.
this was a winnable game for them.
Yes.
Very winnable.
Yep.
Without the penalties, without Lamar, Lamar, all he had to do was not be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs made him look stupid.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Yep. So we kind of talked about AFC Championship thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talked more about the Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're saving more for the Chiefs for when we get to the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the NFC Championship game, the way that was between the Lions and the 49ers?
I was surprised on the Niners coming back for the second time
Yep.
in a row in the playoffs.
Mhm.
I mean, they came back versus what was it, Green Bay?
Green Bay, yep.
And then now the Lions, right? I mean, these teams are kind of exposing the Niners if you think about it, right? They look beatable, They look beatable. They go down a deficit. If you hold them in the second half, basically you win the game,
Mm-hmm.
But both of those teams couldn't do that, People, I know, the media is like, oh, Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. Listen, he's a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback, right? My take on Brock Purdy, all right? He's like a better Jared Goff, okay?
Okay.
Better, which is not bad, okay?
Right.
They're both game managers that, they're accurate when they need to.
Yeah.
They can extend a play when they need to. Well, Goff, no, but Brock Purdy has that asset. Right?
Yeah, but you're talking Goff pre with the Rams. I know what you're saying, right?
But Brock Purdy, listen, he did what Lamar should have been doing, not being, stupid.
Yeah.
But listen, I saw Brock Purdy miss a couple throws. I was like, I don't know, he was questionable at times, but listen, he has CMC, he has Debo, he has Ayuk, he has Kittle, he has a great O-line, great Shanahan system. Defense is there,
Yep.
He got what he needs. He just doesn't need to be stupid.
Right.
My take on the Lions, Goff, he did okay. I feel like their run game just couldn't get going, Their run game couldn't get going.
Yep.
Amon-Ra did, how many yards did Amon-Ra have? I think he had like 80 or 70.
I don't remember the exact number.
I don't think he had the greatest game.
I'll get it if you want later.
Yeah, but I mean, the Lions, I was rooting for them, man. I was really rooting for them.
Yeah, a lot of people in our,
but
in like the New York, Philly area, I guess one of the Lions are in the Super Bowl.
Everyone knows they're cursed, which is unfortunate. But I knew the Lions would not go to the Super Bowl, sadly. Because their defense is not that great. Their pass D specifically. Their pass rush is fine. They got Hutchinson who's carrying the hell out of them.
Yep.
But yeah, Lions defense got exposed, and I knew that was gonna be coming.
Now Dan Campbell went for 2 4th downs that obviously kind of decided the game a little bit. I think one where they were up 14 kind of gave the Niners a short field. I know that he's been known for doing it all year. Was that kind of something that kind of hurt the Lions in a way? Because I understand going for it and like knowing the field when it's time, but when you're controlling the game, you punt them the ball down deep, make them beat you 90-something yards. Instead, you go for it, and you give the Niners a short field, and basically that's what the comeback starts, and they really don't have an answer the rest of the way.
And how much did they lose by?
3.
There's your answer.
Yep.
Could have tied the game, sent to OT.
Yep.
I mean, I know Lions defense questionable, but listen, they got ball hawks. They got CJ Gardner. They got Brian Branch deep out there.
Yep.
They put him in slot corner actually. So.
Yeah, he was a nickel, right?
But listen, they got ball hawks. You never know with that team. So.
Yep.
They could have sent to overtime, possibly won it.
Yep.
So that's unfortunate for them.
So obviously America's pick. We're all waiting to hear. Not just my pick, but his pick too, because he's our guest today.
Yeah.
We all know the matchup. It's Niners Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yet again. Yep.
Yeah, second time in 4 years. Let me ask you this: what are your initial thoughts on this matchup? What kind of takeaways are you kind of looking to see in this game? And if you have a pick, who's your pick?
You're not gonna like this one. I'll tell you that.
Oh Lord.
If I'm being realistic, I do not want them winning. I do not. If they lose, that just adds more fuel to the fire for me. All right.
Okay.
But I have the Chiefs. All right. I just think you pick against Mahomes, franchise QB, even though I hate him, or a game manager who, relies on talent, CMC, dink and dunk to Debo.
Okay.
I gotta be realistic here, I gotta go with Mahomes. But listen, I don't think it's impossible for the Niners to win. I don't.
Okay.
If they rush not Lamar, Mahomes, if they rush Mahomes, if their defense steps up, because their pass I know their defense is good, but their pass defense is a little questionable. So, and I know they have Rashee Rice, they have Kelsey.
Yep.
Other than that, no one else.
Casuals.
Yeah, casuals.
Right.
But he does have a solid O-line. I know one of their O-lines was missing.
Tooney. He's going to miss the game.
That's a big miss.
And their best pass rusher, Charles Omenihu, was also out.
That's a big miss, too. But yeah, if I had to pick between Mahomes, a franchise QB, or Purdy, I'd have to pick Mahomes, sadly. But I'm praying the Chiefs lose, all right? I am a huge... I hate the media sucking his freaking cock on media. Mahomes, greatest QB ever. No. Listen, if Mahomes has no excuse for me, all right? Did you see the stat? His defense is top 4 in the playoffs. Top 4.
Yep.
13 points per game allowed.
Yep.
In the playoffs.
Yep.
How do you not win a Super Bowl with that? If he loses, no excuse. No excuse. But I know they are. They're going to give him an excuse. Oh, they have Tony. They have Richie James at wide receiver. MVS. No excuse, bro. 13 points per game.
Well, Tony's been doghoused since the lateral the day Mahomes threw a tantrum.
Yep.
That's an episode you guys have to check out, by the way. That was a very funny one.
Yeah.
MVS literally caught one ball that basically saved the game. And then Richie James, I think, is just a power turner, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do like that last part, but let me convince you, Joey, some things that I have to say. So, remember the last time the Niners and Chiefs played?
Mm-hmm.
The Niners had Joe Saile left tackle. Is Trent Williams better than what Joe Saile was that year?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
The Niners running back was Raheem Mostert. Christian McCaffrey's there. Better.
Yeah, better.
Okay. Receivers. It was Debo, Kendrick Bourne, George Kittle. Is Ayuk better than Kendrick Bourne is? Yes. Okay. Now, is Purdy or Jimmy G better that year? That's kind of a wash.
Purdy is better. 100%
Okay.
Purdy's better.
Okay. That's
why I'm saying it's not a long shot. They could beat the Chiefs this time.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. So then my question is, the Niners front four is D Ford. Well, not D Ford. It was D Ford and Nick Bosa the first time they met with Arik Armstead. I don't think it was Javon Kinlaw. I forgot there was a second defensive tackle on that team that year. Mm-hmm. But this time it's Chase Young, it's Nick Bosa, it's Javon Hargrave, it's Armstead. They're deep up front. Mm-hmm. Still got Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Their secondary, I don't think is better than what they were 4 years ago. No. But could you argue the Niners from a roster standpoint are better than the Chiefs the first time these teams
100%. Talent-wise, they're better. It's just, again, it comes down to the QB. How is Brock Purdy going to perform in his first Super Bowl ever, you know? You never know. The guy's young. Listen, you know, he'll make a rookie mistake, you know?
Yeah.
First time in the Super Bowl, he's gonna botch. He's gonna sell. You never know. If he doesn't, I'd be very surprised.
Yep.
I'd be impressed, and I'd be happy because Chiefs lose. You know.
So so I want to kind of go back to some points you brought up. I have not liked the way San Francisco has looked in these playoffs.
Yeah.
I thought them getting off to a slow start, and their defense we have not seen that defense play to the standard that we are accustomed to seeing them play.
Because their secondary is getting exposed.
Yes, and I think that they gave up 31 to the Lions and 17 to Green Bay, which is average, but no, not 17, 21.
Yeah, 21.
21, yeah, right. I know it was like somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, okay, if Green Bay let up 24 and Jared Goff and company let up 31, what are the Chiefs going to do?
We don't know.
Well, my point is, they're going to get somewhere between.
I mean, listen, this Chiefs team is probably the weirdest Chiefs team I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
You know, Matt Nagy and Andy. I think Andy Reid's calling the play calls on offense mostly, but
I said that was going to happen too.
They also have Matt Nagy on offensive coordinator. Their offense has been not the greatest. You know, it's more on relying on Mahomes to extend the plays. You know, with Kelsey, Rashee Rice is picking it up. I mean, that offense is a hit or miss. You know, it's more on the defense. This is the best defense in the Mahomes era.
Yeah. I want to add one more point to you on this before I give my pick. Are we, as a general public of NFL fans, I want to ask you this. Are we so spoiled into being accustomed of we want the superstar quarterbacks every single year in the Super Bowl? because I feel like we're kind of ignoring some of the quarterback style that we're so used to. We want the superstars in the Super Bowl every year, but then we get, some quarterbacks within the last, I want to say 10 years, where we had Joe Flacco, a game manager. We had Russell Wilson, a game manager at his point in his career with Seattle. We had Peyton Manning, although he was a superstar and he still was, but he was a game manager at the Denver one.
Yeah.
Nick Foles was a game manager, even though the score in that Super Bowl says otherwise. Yeah. And then we have, Brock Purdy's coming in as a game manager where I think everybody... I'm surprised the public hasn't leaned on Kansas City because the media, like you said, is all
surprised
over.
Too.
I'm very surprised. But I'm asking you, have we kind of been spoiled as a general public and NFL fans of wanting superstars in every single Super Bowl and kind of just, immediately downgrading that the game manager always can't win? Because there's been times where the game manager has outplayed the superstar.
100%. I agree. Listen, you know the saying, defense wins championships.
Right.
Yeah. You get a good QB that doesn't be stupid. He can't be just not a stupid QB. That's it. You saw Jimmy G in the Super Bowl. That year he was the least stupid you ever seen him. Now he's garbage, but at that time he was not turning it over. I used to call him King of Handoffs. Remember? King of Handoffs, King of Play Actions. It was. Listen, you get a good defense, you can go far. And I feel like a lot of teams just. They realize that, Brock Purdy's getting in. Jared Goff got in the playoffs. They went far. That Josh Allen versus Mahomes was a great game, but unfortunately, I want the Josh Allen to win. But
I had Buffalo picked, and I heard it all week from Chiefs fans. It was brutal. Well, really, social media Chiefs. You guys know who I'm taking. And let me say something, Chief fans. I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh boy.
You see this bag? Remember this. I'm not showing you what props are in here. Okay?
I know the props.
He knows the props.
I'm not saying it.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it.
I'm telling you right now, Chief Bandwagons. If y'all lose Super Bowl Sunday, we bringing them out.
No excuse.
And I'm going live after the Super Bowl. Whoever wants to stay and enjoy the freaking celebration with me right after the Super Bowl, the invitation's there. I'm telling you, Chief Bandwagons, you lose. You don't want to know what the props are inside that bag, because I'm going to be going off on you if you guys lose. Now, if you win, unfortunately, shut me up another year. But one of these days, I'm going to be right. And it may be this week. It may be this game. But
no excuse for Mahomes.
But are you? Let me one last question on the Super Bowl. Are you worried about Kyle Shanahan blowing another key game, because we've known him in the playoffs to be a playoff choker?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl last time these two teams met, the 21 NFC Championship game was a part of it. That's the only worry I have, is Kyle Shanahan's becoming the new Andy Reid of playoff choking.
Here's the thing about Shanahan.
Go.
Wasn't he on the 28-3 team?
He was. That too. That's
the issue. That's the issue. You seen it. I told you. You seen it in the first playoff game they played versus the Packers.
Yep.
The second playoff game, you saw him. He just chokes at times. He gets bailed out with the great system he has. The defense doesn't step up when they need to, and chaos just emerges. It happened with the Falcons. It's just part of Shanahan's history, and it's not great. I hope he beats the Chiefs. I really do.
I do too. Do you think it's his play calling at all?
I think a part of it is.
Okay.
Late game it is.
Okay.
I think he gets too confident and cocky.
Okay.
Where he dinking ducks and runs too much, tries to bleed clock, and then boom, they get stopped. Team has a chance. They come back. Shanahan blows it and chokes. That's his issue.
Okay. All right. So you have the Chiefs, even though you hate saying it.
Yep.
So you want the National Nightmare to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, wait, National Nightmare? No,
which is the Taylor Swiftie?
No,
Joey!
No, I do not want I fucking hate Taylor Swift. I fucking hate her.
Because if you have the Swifties and Chief Bandwagons in the media, forget it. It's
I'm just being realistic. I don't want to be biased here. I want to be realistic here.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I think the Chiefs win, but I hope they lose. I really do hope they lose. I'm rooting for them to fucking lose.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to see Taylor Swift's fucking face again.
I don't either.
I saw Colin Cowherd say, she only had like 40 seconds of all screen time. Who gives a shit? She doesn't know football. Her fan base is toxic. She's cringe. No one wants to see her. No one wants to see her at all.
I would add, I just got information literally a couple hours ago from somebody in my family that says she's supposed to make a halftime announcement to publicly support the person that's in the White House. that's
Yeah.
the president. I don't want to get into specifics there. She's
Okay.
endorsing him, I think, for this election.
Here's my
Just I don't want to get political, but
No, yeah.
I just learned this from somebody in like my family. Okay, that Taylor Swift I think is publicly endorsing Biden at halftime. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard a rumor,
I think that's
which I think it might be too, but I just don't hold me to that,
That
guys.
wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I just don't know why you would do it at a Super Bowl if that's the case. That's just my thing that I discovered. Again, guys, I might be wrong. It's just a rumor that I've heard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My conspiracy theory on why the NFL is bleeding out this Taylor Swift shit.
Yep.
They wanted her to perform at Super Bowl halftime. That's what it is.
Even though Usher is.
I know, but even though she can't, the NFL is freaking riding her like a freaking train.
Yep, because they see.
They want
fans
it's
she
money.
Amen.
Gives me money. All the NFL cares about is money. That's why Goodell's hated. He's a freaking douchebag that loves money.
Yep.
Doesn't care about the fans.
Yep.
Yeah, I think probably next Super Bowl they probably want Taylor Swift. This is their way of getting her there.
Yep.
That's my theory.
The best hope I have is if the Niners are blowing out the Chiefs in the first half and then she just doesn't show up. That would be great. Just to try to console Travis Kelce at halftime just to make sure he's good.
Mm-hmm.
That would be beautiful. That'd be so fun.
Oh yeah. And then she breaks up with him and makes a song about it.
Oh my God, that would be the funniest thing ever. That'd be the funniest Super Bowl ever if that happened. Anyway, I'm taking the Niners. I'm ride and die. I picked them day one, preseason pick. You guys remember day one of the show, okay?
Yeah, it's looking good for you.
I have a chance to. I was just telling a guy yesterday. I have a chance to get 3 Super Bowl winners right in the past 6 years. 2 of them I got the matchups right in the last 6 years. So hey, your boys looking pretty good as far as that. But you know what? It's not about me. It's about we got the guests here today. Anyway. We're gonna get into the honors. You have some decisions, so we're gonna go rapid fire with these MVP, these award picks.
Yeah.
I'll kind of give my quick pick on them. Most valuable player nominees are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy. Who's your pick?
This is a regular season award, and I know they vote before the playoffs.
Yep.
So it's Lamar Jackson.
So do I.
But I really wanted Josh Allen to win it. Really badly wanted. I think Josh Allen deserved it.
Yep.
The way he stepped up second half, where he put the team on his back after they fired the offensive coordinator, that ruined their freaking half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be Josh Allen. He's just phenomenal talent,
Mm-hmm.
He runs with his legs, his accuracy deep. He has a freaking arm of a cannon. Fights with Mahomes every freaking playoff game and gets fucking... And Mahomes gets bailed because the defense is just injured. His freaking hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs is looking like a washed wide receiver, dropping all these, catches. I mean, I feel bad for Josh Allen. I really do. But Lamar's going to win it. He's going to win it.
I'm with you. I think Lamar's going to win, too. I think
Yeah.
the games against San Francisco and Miami kind of sealed this case.
I think McCaffrey would be a fun one, but I don't think he's going to win.
I hope he does, but I don't see it happening. Okay, Defensive Player of the Year. Deron Bland, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and T.J. Watt of your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well,
Who wins?
you know my answer.
Oh, boy.
You know my answer. My answer is T.J. Watt. My answer is T.J. Watt. I don't give a fuck about the Pro Football Focus pass rating. All right? Win ratio. Where the fuck was Myles Garrett the last few weeks? 0 sacks. Whole fucking donut. I didn't see shit. Oh, he was injured. Oh, he's the only good pass rusher on the D-line. I don't give a fuck. TJ, you take him out of the line of scrimmage, he makes plays. You put him on the line of scrimmage, he makes plays. You put him at freaking corner, he'll make a play. You got a fucking pick on Matthew Stafford. You baited him and got a pick. He could force fumbles. He could do everything. That's what a defensive player of the year does, okay?
Okay.
Listen, Myles Garrett's a great guy. Great talent,
Yeah.
He's a freaking monster, but in my opinion, TJ Watt, he could do everything on the field.
I hate to disagree with you. I have to take Myles Garrett. I think Max Crosby had a good season. I just don't think he has the
Max Crosby
sense.
was
He
a
did have a lot of games where he
was
caught
a
my eye
sleeper.
where
Yeah,
I was like, man. Deron Bland, I mean, he had 9 picks, but did you watch the Seattle game when he got burnt?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put him
He's more of a ball hawk than a coverage
Right.
guy.
He was basically what Trayvon Diggs was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? Parsons fades every time late half of the season. So I feel like by default, unfortunately because TJ Watt got hurt too,
And he still led the league in sacks after getting hurt.
which is crazy to believe. I have to go with Myles Garrett. I mean, big reason was number 1 defense. And
I think Myles Garrett's gonna realistically. I think Myles Garrett's gonna win it because voter fatigue.
Yeah.
Voter fatigue is the worst thing that ever happened.
I'd be shocked if it's anybody else but Myles Garrett, but I want to see who they give this to. But I think it's gonna be Myles Garrett. I'm just confident in that feeling.
I hate voter fatigue.
Okay. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
This one's a lock. I know this one.
Sam Laporta. Puka Nacua.
My guy Puka. I love that guy.
Bijan Robinson somehow made it.
No.
Or C.J. Stroud.
B.J. Robinson would have made it if... Oh my god, I don't even want to mention his name. C.J. Stroud's Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm not mentioning his name, bro.
Okay. I have no issue with that. I
can't believe the Steelers hired this guy. Oh my god.
I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not Rabal. I'm not Louis. I'm not Vin, who want to see you suffer. I'm not that. I don't do that for you. You know what it was like for me now with Patricia being.
I hope he turns it around for us, but oh my god, he has such a bad rep right now.
Okay, I'm with you on C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
I think the games against the Colts. I think just
he showed it, man.
He really showed it in a lot of games, especially with the talent around him.
He showed he's a franchise QB.
Yeah, he really did show. So I'm gonna go with C.J. Stroud as my Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I agree.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
This one's interesting.
Okay, we have Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr. of your Pittsburgh
My
Steelers,
guy.
Kobe Turner of the Rams,
Very underrated D tackle, yo.
Devon Witherspoon.
Okay.
Who's your pick?
This was a huge toss-up. I'll tell you that. Huge toss-up, in my opinion.
This is a coin flip, too. Go ahead.
Because Jalen Carter, I didn't really hear much about him. You know, he had a good first half of the season.
Yeah.
Got quiet second half when the Eagles were struggling. Will Anderson picked it up very late. Very late with the Texans, you know.
Yes.
Kobe Turner had a very quiet season, but a really good season. You know, very good season.
Yes.
But also, if you keep in mind, they got Aaron Donald there. They gave one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, he got more recognition, right.
Devon Witherspoon picked it up. I think also another guy. Good first half. Struggled second half when Seattle was struggling, you know?
Okay.
Joey Porter, that's my guy. Love him to death. I want him to win it, but the thing is, he was like behind our shit pass D, you know? I saw him one-on-one on D-Hop, locked him up when that happened. Devontae Adams locked him up, you know? I mean, he was locking up a lot of like these wide receiver ones, you know? But I don't think I would love Joey. I'm gonna go with Joey Porter just because he's my guy.
Okay.
Because this is a coin flip.
Right. This is tough because I think when I look at the finalists, I agree with all your points you made. I think because they're gonna look at a story too with this, I'm gonna go with Will Anderson because I think that they're gonna look at what Jalen Carter, the Eagles fell down. He was really good in the beginning. They fell off.
I think this is gonna just win based off team success.
Right. Kobe Turner, he had good, but does he have a case that he's better than Will Anderson? It's close. I don't think they would. I think the Texans' story of having both rookies of the year in the same draft is going to overtake it. I'm going to take Will Anderson.
I could see that. I definitely could see
Although, I'm not mad if any of these other guys win it.
Me neither. I mean, all these guys deserve it.
This is a toss-up.
Coin up. Yeah,
this is literally like toss. It's like a roll of the dice. Comeback Player of the Year. Now, this is more of a storyline award. Okay? Joe Flacco, DeMar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa.
Get two out of that shit. No.
Okay, so who's your pick?
My pick, DeMar Hamlin's gonna fucking win it. We know it. It's a story-based, award.
I said that, yeah.
In my opinion, there should be two awards: Most Improved and Comeback Player of the Year. That's what I think.
I have no beef with that. No beef.
But listen, Comeback Player of the Year, it's all about story. DeMar Hamlin's gonna obviously win it, but in my opinion, Baker deserves it 100%.
Ooh.
Baker deserves it 100%. I mean, under freaking Todd Bowles at head coach, we know how he is with the Jets in previous days. Ruins quarterbacks. Magically, Baker just surpasses that.
Yeah.
Makes the playoffs.
Yep.
Was fighting in a playoff game. I mean, he had a really good. What do you have? Over 30 touchdowns thrown or something?
I think he had around 30.
I mean, I was impressed. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Baker, I think, deserves it 100%. But DeMar's gonna win it based off story. I think Joe Flacco, he did well, but there was times where he just threw so many picks. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? No.
It doesn't seem like you're happy that DeMar Hamlin's gonna win it. Is that?
I'm not mad at DeMar Hamlin. I'm mad at the NFL making this a story based thing because I think players who work their ass off who wanted to improve as a player and wanted to get recognized. I think those guys deserve an award too,
I mean, because I think, when we look at this award, it's about coming off a serious injury.
Right, yeah.
He almost lost his life.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be the big favorite to win it.
Yeah.
I do see, like, if we're going for a storyline of, like, what they overcame and stuff, like, there's that sometimes plays a factor.
Yeah.
Baker, I agree, has a chance. I know, too, like, with the thing last year,
yeah, that's why he's on there.
That's why, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's DeMar Hamlin because of, obviously, everything that happened. I think it's a hard reason for me to believe anybody else wins it but him. Okay.
No, yeah, he's going to win it.
Yeah. I have no issue with him winning it. I don't. Okay. Coach of the Year.
Oh, this one's a toss-up.
Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, DeMeco Ryans, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin Stefanski.
Huge toss-up.
Yep.
Huge toss-up here. Between DeMeco Ryans, Stefanski, and Dan Campbell. I think those three, in my opinion. Because John Harbaugh already, he's proven himself. We know this.
No, of course.
So I think those three guys are huge candidates. In my opinion, I think the winner, DeMeco Ryans. I mean, the way he just elevated that young talent.
Yeah.
We know how young talent are the first year. They struggle. They barely get to the playoffs. They get to develop immediately. Texans playoff team.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He was a rookie coach too.
Yep.
I mean, I was very impressed with DeMeco. He elevated that team really well.
I think I agree with you. I think it's down to three candidates. I think it's Dan Campbell, Kevin Stefanski, DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
I think if Stefanski or DeMeco Ryans wins it, I'm good with it. I think Campbell, a lot of people
100%.
like.
100%.
I don't think he had a better year than those two guys did. I think Stefanski going through four quarterbacks is going to make a strong argument, and having the Browns in position to be
100%.
in the playoffs. I don't think a lot of people had Cleveland going into the playoffs at the beginning of the year, but neither did the Texans. Which, again, this is a toss-up because both of these guys equally deserve it.
Yeah.
I feel like DeMeco really did a great job with the Texans. I mean, he really won me over. I like the hire when they did it day one.
Right.
I thought it'd be a long rebuild.
Shanahan fucking tree.
So I'm going to go with him. I know I said Stefanski, but if it's him or Kevin Stefanski, I'm fine with it. I do think, logically, if Kevin Stefanski wins, it doesn't surprise me.
No, yeah.
But I think DeMeco Ryans is deserving it because of what that team was before he got there and how they elevated under him and how far they came. And they won the division.
Yeah, that team was only, how many wins last year?
Three, I think? 3 or 4?
It's horrible, yeah.
Yeah.
And he elevated that team.
So so we both agree on Coach of the Year. Assistant Coach of the Year, if you care about this, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Todd Monken, Jim Schwartz, Bobby Slowick.
I think it's between two guys, McDonald or Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson wins this one because he's getting huge rep around the league. Everyone wants him as a head coach.
Yeah.
I heard he wants to stay though, which unfortunate for Vin because he's a Commanders fan.
I mean, he was mixed with Dan Quinn.
Yeah, but Ben Johnson I think wins this. He's having a phenomenal year with the Lions.
Yep. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Ben Johnson too. I feel like he established himself the last couple of years as one of the best offensive minds in football. And doing what he did with Jared Goff and that offense, I feel like he's going to definitely deserve it. Monken was good at Georgia, which I think kind of diminishes him. I know Lamar had a good year off of it. Mike McDonald, again, that defense was already great.
Yeah, it was already great. He just made it better.
Bobby Slowick, I mean, it's kind of hard.
I've heard from Texans fans he's a little overrated.
Okay.
I've heard that.
Yeah, and then Jim Schwartz did a great job with Cleveland's defense.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
They got exposed in the playoffs. That's the problem.
Hurts. I know it's a regular season award, but
but still, ruined his rep.
But I wouldn't hold that against him. I would say he's at least top 3.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Ben Johnson too. All right, we are done talking NFL, my friend. Now, let's go to the NBA because we got a lot to cover.
My Knicks, orange and blue skies, baby.
Okay, so let's talk about your New York Knicks. 9 straight wins. Okay, there is talk around the league that the New York Knicks should make a trade offer to LeBron if LeBron can get traded.
That just came in today.
As of the last 48 hours. Okay, but you have a little something bigger than just, that talk. Your superstar in the making, Jalen Brunson.
My guy, I love that guy.
You have an issue with something that I'll let you bring up on your own. But the New York Knicks, on a confidence scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in the New York Knicks potentially making the NBA Finals or winning the NBA Finals?
I'm going to say this. It depends on Julius Randle's performance. That's my issue.
Right.
I don't want to get too hyped.
No, of course.
Because we know how Julius Randle is in the playoffs.
Okay.
But I do think we should make the Eastern Conference Finals at most.
Okay.
I think that's our best go right there.
Okay.
OJ Anunoby, great pickup. I was very questionable about that pickup
I'll talk
because
about that.
we gave up our depth. We gutted our depth for a guy who didn't even prove a lot yet, but he proved it. So listen, I'm with people proving me wrong, 100%.
Okay.
And OG proved that.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving me. I'm not saying he is that guy.
Right.
He's giving me Kawhi vibes. With the long wingspan, elite defender, good guy in the corner from 3, good spot up mid range guy. I'm getting Kawhi vibes from him.
Okay.
If he becomes if he hasn't even reached his ceiling yet, I think he's a high potential player. We got hustle guys. Isaiah Hardenstein picked it up after we lost Mitchell Robinson, unfortunately.
And Mitchell Robinson's coming back.
Yeah, at the end of the year, they say, if we make the playoffs, which we are, I'm confident. Josh Hart, huge hustle guy. I call him Hustle God because he fucking hustles every single time. He may be like 6'5", 6'4". He gets freaking offensive rebounds everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Dante DiVincenzo was a good pickup. Dante's looked better with. He's confident now with all his. He has all his best friends around him. Brunson and Hart played together in Villanova with him. He's been shooting lights out lately. Quentin Grimes is good off the bench. Miles McBride, I bashed him, but he's picking it up off the bench.
Okay.
Those guys, our whole team is just elevated. It's like our competitiveness just elevated to a level where everyone wants to win.
Okay. I remember when you told me about the trade for R.J. Barrett gone, Emmanuel Quickly gone.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on vacation, and this man texted me, "Why, this franchise? What are they doing?" And you were frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, I'm like, dang, that is a lot, And I was like, okay, OG Anunoby is a 3-and-D type of player that the Knicks do need. I'm like, well, R.J. Barrett, I know he's young, but, you do have room to bring in a potential superstar to help elevate.
But OG wasn't a potential superstar yet.
No, I'm not saying he was, but you have still potential to bring that in with all the draft picks, the cap space.
We have 11 future first rounders.
Yeah, and I don't think you guys are willing to pay RJ a significant ton.
No.
When I look at it, and I know
contract was coming up.
Yes. So, I know you weren't a fan of that trade, but do you think at the trade deadline are we going to see any major moves from the Knicks? You think with all that assets, draft capital, cap space that they could try? Do you think superstars would be able to go there?
The thing about the Knicks, they're all talk and then they don't do anything in the off season or mid season. They get little bench players, role players to boost their morale and stuff. But Tibbs it's all about Tibbs, and we know Tibbs. Defensive guy doesn't give a shit about the offense. He got OG because OG is a defensive guy. He can play him 40 minutes straight. This guy's an insane coach. This guy plays every game like a playoff game. 40 minutes. You get 40 minutes. You get 40 minutes. Which is going to cost us because you're seeing it slowly and slowly. You're seeing it. Julius Randle hurt. Mitchell Robinson hurt. Quentin Grimes is getting banged up.
Okay.
Yeah. This is good. That's my only concern about Tibbs. He works all these guys to the bone. And listen, I know these players are fine with it. I respect it, but it's going to bang up your body by playoff time, which is my only concern.
I was going to bring that up, and you just nailed the question I was going to say.
Yeah.
So Jalen Brunson, you guys don't remember, he did not sign with the Knicks at the time last time we did talk, or he did, but we didn't see his stardom rise until after the last time you were on Loungetime. So, and I remember, and I'll make this quick, he was raving to me about Brunson as the season went on last year, but you have an issue with the way the media is treating Brunson. I'm going to let you talk about that.
I'm sick of this fucking media hating on Brunson, saying he's not a superstar. He's too small. He's not. He's no one. Who's that WNBA coach that kept yapping and wouldn't shut the fuck up? No one's ever won with small guy as their best player. Listen, it's true, but listen, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. All right, Isaiah Thomas. He won one, right?
Yep.
Oh, coincidentally, that was a defensive team.
Yep.
So she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Nothing's impossible in the NBA, all right? Brunson's different, Brunson's averaging 34 points per game this last month, or something around that line, okay?
Okay.
Shooting efficiently, He's passing the ball. He has, he's getting MVP chance at MSG, the most toxic freaking arena in the world,
Yep,
all right?
yep.
MVP chance, first All-Star, all right? I mean, he's even in MVP talks now, so even though I don't think he's going to win it, but I'm glad he's in it,
Okay. He finally got selected to the All-Star team. I think he's a...
Yeah.
I don't know if
He's a reserve.
He's a reserve, right. I was going to say, I know he wasn't a starter, even though Halliburton was banged up and got the nod over him. Okay. So, I want to talk to you about a serious team-building NBA question. And as I'm looking at the standings right in front of me, we're seeing a lot of teams that are at the top of the conference that are building more through the draft, players on rookie contracts before a supermax, right? That have at most one or two young superstars on the rise. And I bring up examples like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah. I bring up examples like the Indiana Pacers. I bring examples like the Sacramento Kings, even though Fox has been around for a while.
The Kings have been falling a little slowly.
Are we seeing a different wave in how NBA teams are built? Like, is the way of the superstar veteran super team going away? And are we seeing more like of a, younger, built through the draft? You have to have one or two young superstars that you can be able to pay. Are we seeing the era of the super team fade and a new way of NBA team building for dynasties?
100%, because I'll tell you this. The superstars that we all know, LeBron, Curry, KD, even Booker. What's Booker, 27, 28?
Gotta be around there.
All these guys, Kawhi, PG, they're all getting old. They're all getting old.
How's our teams doing?
Their teams are doing great, except for LeBron and Curry's, but Kawhi and PG's team's doing great. But the thing is, they're getting old. They're getting run out the league. New talent's coming in. You see new guys like Fox getting developed, Halliburton getting developed. I don't know how old Brunson is. I think Brunson's like mid-20s.
I think so. Yeah, I don't have the exact age in front of me.
Maxi's developing too as a young guy.
Yep.
Tatum's like 25, 26, something like that.
Around there.
The draft capital is looking like the way. Shea is young too. Chet's looking great. Jalen Williams, the underrated guy for OKC. Anthony Edwards only 21, which is surprising to me. He's developing still. The Nuggets are the Nuggets. We know Jokic. Jamal Murray's good too. There's a lot of good young talent. I'm still high on LaMelo from the Hornets. Just the Hornets suck.
Yeah. They're bad.
And he's always banged up.
Yep.
But yeah, NBA's looking good talent-wise for young talent.
Okay, so you agree with that statement that we're seeing a different way teams are built.
100%.
Okay, so I want to then, obviously we have two debates here, but I'm going to save one on the end. But let's get to your NBA, and of course my computer screen goes black on it, but we just fixed it now. Here's the Eastern Conference standings. I'm going to ask you your top 8 playoff teams, and then we'll go to the Eastern Conference Final, and then you pick to come out of the East.
Okay.
We have the Celtics at the 1 seed. The Bucks are at the 2 seed. Your New York Knicks are at the 3 seed.
Yep. Tied with the Bucks.
A half game behind the Bucks.
Yep.
Cavaliers are 4. Philadelphia 76ers are 5.
They might go down because Embiid's out.
Indiana Pacers are 6. The Miami Heat are at 7.
Yeah.
The Magic are at 8.
Surprise.
The Bulls are at 9. The Hawks are at 10. And then we don't need to mention the bottom 5. It's Nets, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards, and Pistons.
Yeah, the Nets suck. Sorry, Bob. Nets suck, man.
Been trying to get him on. He keeps flaking. So, yeah. So, but listen. First come, first serve, Dobby. I asked you 3 weeks now. Anyway, who's your playoff teams? Give me your obviously top 6 locks. And
I'll give you the
East.
Go. Celtics, obviously.
Go.
Bucks, Knicks, Cavs. Sixers are gonna fall down. They're gonna fall. So I don't know about them. Pacers for sure. I think Heat sneak in.
Are they top 6 or in a play-in?
I think they're top 6 because the Sixers fall right into the play-in, I think.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then your 2 teams that get out of the play-in.
That get out of the play-in?
Yeah, do the Sixers are one of those teams?
Well, the Bulls are in the play-in right now if they were, right?
It would be the Sixers, Magic, Bulls, and the Hawks, unless you have somebody in the bottom 5 making a crazy run.
So who would get past the play-in, you're saying, right?
Yes,
Oh,
that's my point.
Okay.
Are the Sixers one of those teams?
If Embiid comes back, yes.
Okay, but are you going with that notion?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, one more team.
I think the Magic sneak in.
Okay.
I think the Magic sneak in. Their defense is great. I mean, they've been picking it up. I'm surprised.
Okay. All right. Who do you have in the Eastern Conference Finals and coming out of the East?
Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics.
Okay.
All right. By the way, my take on the Celtics. Tatum has no excuse. All right. Listen, you know I'm a Tatum freaking.
I do know he tells me he's a Tatum hater.
He has no excuse. This is a better team than what he versed when in the finals with Curry. All right, better team. You got Porzingis, Drew Holiday,
yeah.
your guy Derek White. I know you love that guy. Jaylen Brown,
All he does is
Tatum. They're deep with Sam Hauser, who's a good 3-point shooter.
Yes,
right?
from Michigan State. I remember him. Yes.
Pritchard is solid. He's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. No excuse. It's finals or bust for the Celtics in my
Totally
opinion.
agree. Totally
finals
agree.
or bust. I mean,
totally agree.
This team is talented to the brim. Tatum. The only concern is will Tatum elevate his performance? He's proven that he's not as clutch as he is. He got locked up by Wiggins in the finals. Nearly washed Wiggins, who sucks this year.
Okay.
No excuse. I mean, Jaylen Brown also. I mean, we know people with this issue with the left hand. You know. Always gets stolen, turnover machine.
His bad ball handling.
Yeah, I mean, those two got to pick it up in the playoffs. If not, no excuse, bro. There's no excuse.
Okay. So who do you have meeting the Celtics?
Okay, meeting the Celtics, I have. You're not gonna like this, but I think the Bucks are fraudulent, especially with Doc Rivers. But
Okay.
I think the Knicks. I'm gonna go with the Knicks.
Okay.
It's either Knicks or Cavs for me, but I think Knicks because Brunson is Donovan Mitchell's father. So, yeah. 2-0 versus him in the playoffs. Meaningful playoff games, too. So.
No, 2 back-to-back playoff series with 2 different teams.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to take the Celtics, too. Okay. I think they'll come out of the East. I think they're really good. This second spot, this is tricky because I think the Cavs are just not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers with Embiid gone, I need to see if he gets back in time. Yeah. Indiana can score. They have no defense.
Yeah, no defense.
I like your Knicks, but I want to see if they make a move at the deadline. They are an attractive destination for teams. Mm-hmm. I think if you can get into a superstar, I could definitely see your point. Mm-hmm. Which leaves me to this. It's either Milwaukee or Miami. And the reason I say Miami is because Miami,
right.
you know,
about Miami, right.
Terry Rozier, who Louis loves, you know, getting rid of Kyle Lowry. I ate a lot of crow for picking against the Heat, you know, from him, and he gave me shit talk, so I can't rule Miami out. Milwaukee is interesting because I know their defense is bad, but I think when we're looking at the top default, they should be the second best team in the East.
Right, yeah.
But Miami worries me because Miami's got the blueprint to beat them, and right now they're
Rivers versus Spo. Come on, like who's gonna?
Yeah, and they might meet second round. So I'm looking at it like if Giannis can overcome that like strategy, which he did a couple years ago to win. Mm-hmm. So if he can do that. Then I know he can.
I think the Heat just match up really well versus the Bucks because Bam on Giannis. I mean, Bam, we know how Bam is. Very underrated player.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Yeah.
He could guard 1 through 5, you know? I think if they match him up with Giannis, Giannis might struggle. And I know, obviously, a struggle for Giannis' standards is like 25 points a game.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's like average.
Yeah. But for Giannis, that's a struggle, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if I take the Heat, it's basically like, oh, you're taking a rematch of last year. You want another Heat-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. But I just don't see who else out of the East is better than the Bucks or Miami. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the winner of that game is easily going in. Just because I like Giannis, I want him to win. I know every year I take the damn Bucks. I'm trying to find a reason not to take them. I know Doc Rivers and stuff, but I feel like talent-wise they match up better. Mm-hmm. And the Heat, don't get me wrong, it'd be another series. It'd be the third time in the last 4 years. But I'd be like, the Celtics are also better in a way. But I don't know.
Here's my issue between the Bucks, Heat. Spo plays team basketball.
He does.
Doc Rivers plays, give this guy the ball, let him do his thing.
Yeah.
And we know how that goes.
No,
that
I
doesn't go well.
I know.
That doesn't go well, especially with Dame struggling this year.
Mm-hmm.
Dame's not really a passer, you know. So that's not going to work, in my opinion, not going to work well because we saw how it worked with Embiid.
Right.
Choked 3-1 leads.
So, I mean, because if you have Miami in as I'm guessing you have them as a 6 seed, you would have them versing the Knicks unless you have the Knicks going in the 2 seed, avoiding Miami in that first round matchup?
I think so, yeah, something
Okay.
around there.
Okay.
I don't think we match up with the Heat first round.
Okay, so then you have them at least 2, I'm guessing. All right, I'm going to have the Balls. I'm going to take the Bucks. I just want a different matchup than the Celtics Heat. I'm going to stick with them. I feel like Damian Lillard and Giannis, I'm confident they'll figure it out. I've seen superstars struggle in the beginning, and then when they finally know how to put it together in the playoffs run, I think they could do it. Doc scares me, I'm not going to lie, but out of all the coaches that were out there, he's clearly the best option that was available. I stand by that. I know you and I disagree on that.
I think Mark Jackson was a better option, in my opinion.
But I think clearly there's a reason he's not, getting consideration.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's spice things up to the Western Conference.
West is basically wide open, in my opinion. Very wide open.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you your top 6 teams in the West.
OKC, Wolves, Clippers for sure.
Top 3.
Yeah. Nuggets.
4.
Suns.
They're at 6 seed right now. One more spot. You want me to tell you a couple teams?
I'll go Kings. Yeah, Kings.
Okay, so the top 6 literally in the standing.
Yeah, they're good. They're good enough.
Okay. Now here's your playing teams and then a couple bottom 5s that we never thought would expect.
Yeah.
The Pelicans are at 7. The Mavericks are at 8. The Lakers hanging barely on at the 9 seed.
Yeah.
Jazz and Rockets tied for 10th, and then Golden State is only half a game out. So the Warriors and obviously then Memphis is done without John Morant. But
I think the Rockets make the play, and I think the Jazz move down.
okay. And the Warriors are out.
Where are the Warriors
Are 12th.
Oh, they're 12th. Yeah, I don't think the Warriors make it this year, honestly.
Okay.
I really don't think they make it.
I don't think so either. Oh. Okay. I'll let you think.
This is tough because again, the West is wide open.
Yes.
Nah. I'd go with Never mind.
All right. So who's your 2 teams that get out of the play-in?
Okay, I'll go Mavs. That's a surprising one. I know I always doubt him, but Luka is Luka. He's amazing regardless.
Go.
And I'll go Lakers.
So
I know
the
they're
8 and the 9
I know
seed.
they're struggling, but I still like their team regardless. Honestly, I really do. Reeves picked it up without AD and Braun. They do good without AD and Braun, which is weird, but when AD and Braun go there, they just underperform. But I think the Lakers make it. I don't think they go far, but I think they can make the play-in or get out of the play-in.
Western Conference Finals. Who do you have?
Clippers.
Okay.
I'll go Nuggets. Clippers versus Nuggets.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you have the Celtics playing your New York Knicks
Mm-hmm.
in the Eastern Conference Finals. Who do you have winning? And how many
Celtics.
games? How many games?
Celtics. 6 or 7 games. I'm not sure. I'll go 6.
Okay. Clippers Nuggets.
7 games.
Who?
Clippers.
Celtics Clippers in the finals. Who's your winner? How many games?
I'm gonna also go. Actually, you know what? I'll go 5 games. Clippers.
Wow. 5.
Kawhi on Tatum. PG on Jaylen Brown. 2 good defenders.
Yep.
We know what's gonna happen.
Who's on Porzingis though? Zubats?
Yeah, but Porzingis is injury prone, and you know how inconsistent he is. You know.
Okay. See, the Clippers in 5.
Even if Porzingis goes off, Tatum and Jaylen Brown are gonna get locked by Kawhi and PG. But here's the thing, though. I know Kawhi is a playoff performer.
Okay.
Paul George is my only question mark.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden also, but listen,
Yeah.
James Harden can just pass. He doesn't need to fucking shoot unless he becomes an idiot.
Yep.
But Paul George is a big question mark. There's times where he chokes. They call him playoff, way off P in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah.
Pandemic P.
Yep.
And then there's Paul George, like back in the Pacers where he was, putting up 30 points a game versus LeBron. But we don't know how Paul George is going to perform, but I'm hoping he performs well.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my West, and then I'll give you my NBA Finals too. I'm gonna see what you think.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go with Denver. I think by far and away, I trust them. They're tested. They know exactly what they have to do. The second spot in the West is tough because there's a case to be made for each team. I do not have any faith in the Clippers staying healthy. I think Harden sucks in the playoffs. Westbrook, I don't know how that dynamic's going to wait.
That's a good point. But I'm going hypothetical.
Kawhi and Paul George can never stay healthy. And I've seen them in the playoffs, I would like to take them, but I don't have the confidence they can stay healthy. So this makes me think we have a sleeper team that comes out of the West, and I'm going to shock you.
Okay.
I'm going to roll with the Kings. I think this team is the surprise. We have a sleeper now every single year that's made it in the conference finals. I think the Kings break through.
Wow,
they were one game away from beating Golden State. Mike Brown has that team playing pretty good. I know they're not doing well. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, they can shoot the basketball. I like Sabonis is a big guy. I was hoping they would make a trade for Siakam like the Pacers did. They did not, which shocked me. I wonder if they do try to make a move at the deadline. I think they might make one. I'm going to go Kings and Nuggets. Nuggets win, I'm going to say at least in 5 over the Kings.
Okay.
Celtics Bucks, I think that's going to go 7 games. And right now, because I don't feel good about this, I think Doc's former team beats them. I'm going with the Celtics. So I got Celtics and Nuggets. Nuggets trying to go back to back. But man, the Celtics are good. I think this is their year. I think Jokic doesn't come off as the guy that is hungry to win back to back. I know the temptation's there for them, but I'm gonna go with the Celtics all around. They're really good.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Celtics in 6 over Denver.
Yeah, I think the Celtics match up better with the Nuggets, so that makes sense.
That's my pick.
I was thinking more of if the Clippers are healthy, then
Right.
they make the finals.
I would say that too, but I don't trust them in general. I don't.
For sure.
All right. I wonder if you have time for a LeBron Jordan debate.
I'm
all right. So, my friend over here is a huge LeBron James fan.
Right.
Okay. I have been taught by those that have been around longer than me that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever. Even though I've watched only YouTube clips of Michael Jordan, I can only talk basically for people who have watched Michael Jordan play. But in my experience watching LeBron, he's a great player. I have him at top 5. I could argue 2 or 3. Okay.
No, I think he's 2 for sure at least.
Okay, some people say Kareem. That's why I'm
LeBron's way better. Not way better, but better.
Okay, so my question for you is, do you think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time as a LeBron fan?
I think this argument's stupid in general because here's my take on it.
Go.
LeBron and MJ are 1A, 1B. Okay, LeBron is the best, most skilled player of all time, most talented player of all time. All right. MJ, best winner of all time, okay? So if you're comparing the best winner of all time and the most talented guy of all time, it's hard to put that up, So, in my opinion, they're both GOATs, honestly. I mean, this is like pick your poison, So, in my opinion, it's 1A, 1B.
Okay.
I've always contemplated, LeBron's the GOAT, because I love that guy to death, but my opinion, it's 1A, 1B. Because I've been, researching all this shit on MJ, on LeBron. In my opinion, they're same level.
So if you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one to win me a championship.
Well, as right now, I know you say they're both 1A, 1B, but if there's one greatest of all time, it's who? Because to me, in every other sport, there's one. You know what I mean?
It's tough, dude. It's really tough.
I know.
Because I could see both. I really could see both. I'd probably take MJ.
Okay. So
I'd probably take MJ.
So it's a reluctant LeBron fan saying MJ at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the case why Jordan's the GOAT in my opinion.
Okay.
All right. I know his beginning years, they didn't have Scottie. He lost to the Celtics with Bird, McHale, and Parrish, and Dennis Johnson.
And if you think about it, he had another 2 Hall of Famers next to him.
Okay, the dude literally was Jesus in sneakers, dropping 63. He put the fear of God in his Celtics team because he almost beat him by himself. That's how scary that was for the Celtics. And if they say that, that's volumes. They invented the Jordan rules in Detroit to stop Michael Jordan, and they were literally, and I watched The Last Dance, I know you did too. Scottie Pippen was a had a migraine, and they lost in 7 in 1990, and they swept the Blazers in the finals. So I look at that and I go, dang, it was close. And that was, I think, Phil Jackson's first year coaching. Then obviously when they got Phil, I mean when they the Pistons got old and the Celtics got old, they broke through, right? But that happens in the NBA. You have a small window, and then guys just get hurt. I know it was physical then. It happens in the NBA, okay? So injuries are part of it. Age happens, okay? But beat the Lakers when they didn't have Kareem. It was Michael Cooper, James Worthy, Magic. Still the Lakers, okay? We won 4 or 5 Magic Johnson them in the 80s, okay?
Yeah, but they were running out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, but that's still a credible win. The Blazers with Clyde Drexler, they just went to the finals 2 years ago. Got obviously smacked by the.
They weren't also the same, but
the Pistons.
Yeah.
I mean, but still, he lit up like 8 threes in a game, 7 threes in a game. I mean, that was not even really the 3-point error. Okay, then the Suns with Charles Barkley and them. I know the Suns weren't the most talented team, but you still were 3-0 at that point. Okay, and you retired. Now I could argue that if Michael Jordan didn't retire, they could maybe have won 8 straight. I don't know how they would have matched up with Hakeem back then. I don't know. I mean, I think they would have beat the Knicks back then with Starks and Ewing and all that.
Yeah,
I think the Pacers would have given them a run, as we saw in 1998 in the Last Dance. But I don't know. Like, it would have probably split maybe, but I still think...
if you look at Hakeem's stats in the playoffs, top 3 playoff performer ever. Top 3. Because he was putting up 35 points a game in the playoffs, average. That good. If you look it up, I swear, I was surprised. Kareem was doing the work in the playoffs, and I don't know who would stop him on the Bulls. I mean, listen, I know Dennis Rodman's one of the greatest defensive players of all time, but no one's stopping Hakeem, bro. That dream shake was unstoppable. His defensive presence was unstoppable. I don't know how you stop Hakeem. I don't think that the Bulls... I mean, I'm sure the Bulls would have stolen a few games out of them, but I think Rockets would have beat him even if MJ came back.
I mean, they got Rodman until like after they lost to Orlando.
Yeah.
And I look at that. After he literally came back mid-season, he almost went to the finals, literally coming back midway through the year. That's crazy to believe. Okay, I know it's almost, but he literally had them on the ropes. He just wasn't in condition. But when he was in condition, had arguably the best team in NBA history. I think the best team in NBA history. 72-10, right? Dismantled Orlando in the finals, and then they play the Sonics and 1-6. And then the Jazz, Karl Malone. Hold on, I thought I had a feeling I was gonna sneeze for a second. I'm sorry. They played Karl Malone and John Stockton. The dude literally in like 100-degree fever. Okay, literally like hunched over. Imagine running full speed, sweat and everything. How you do it? They say it was food poisoning, but they call it the flu game. How he did that is something that I cannot ever experience, and that's like something like there that just it's not even, it's beyond a movie script. You can't make it up.
Here's my thing about that era, okay?
Go.
The West was extremely weak. All right, the West was really weak. Point guards were not as talented that era. I mean, you only got Gary Payton and Stockton, who made all NBA every single year. I mean, you got Rod Strickland making all NBA that decade. Like, come on, bro. I mean, that era was not as talented as LeBron's era. And anyway, if you don't agree, I don't know what to say to you, because LeBron's era was way more talent. I mean, now you're seeing bench players be starter potential players, compared to back then where Steve Kerr wouldn't make a starting lineup,
I mean, if it's an era of 3-point shooting, he might.
He would be the Kyle Korver of this era, I mean, I love Steve Kerr, but like, he would be the Kyle Korver of this era for sure. I mean, LeBron's era, very talented. I think way harder to win this era.
Yeah. I mean, and then I look at, like, obviously 6-0 in the finals, 6 for 6. I mean, if we're judging by winning, he's got it. If we're judging by accolades, MVPs, and all that, maybe not to the total of maybe a Kareem as far as MVPs, but he was arguably the best player in his decade for the 90s, and that's he was the best player throughout the 90s. That's without question. Kareem was the best player arguably in the 70s, could be in the 80s. It was between Bird and Magic. But as far as a decade, yes, he's up there. Now, when I look at LeBron's record, right, I'm not going to hold the first Spurs finals against him because he was very young.
And he had, like, his second best player was Ilgauskas.
I don't hold that against him. Where I start to hold it against him is when you get the one seed, and
the Mavs one was his fault. The Mavs.
Yes, that was his fault, and that's a big one.
He admitted it himself. He fucked up.
Ever
since that finals, he has never let that finals let him down because he has consistently averaged nearly over 30 points a game every single time in the finals since that finals matchup. It's just either his team lets him down. Okay, he has fucking JR's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? The time stop. Time's going on. Okay, he has Kevin Love injured, then he has Kyrie injured. Kyrie finally comes back. Him and Kyrie freaking we know what happened that year.
Yep.
They came back 1-3-1. I mean, I think LeBron's been very unlucky, but I'm not saying it's not his fault. There's times where he could have improved, but I think if you gave LeBron 2 Hall of Famers beside him, he would win. He would have a better record, in my opinion.
Well, he had 2 Hall of Famers with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
In my opinion, Chris Bosh not a Hall of Famer.
That's you.
D Wade, Hall of Famer for sure. Chris Bosh, very good.
Yeah, no, I have no issue with that. But I'm gonna finish up LeBron's case. When you were up 2-1 in Orlando as the 1 seed with Cleveland, you get outplayed by the Magic, which that's not a good look. When you don't shake hands.
This was his first year in the playoffs?
That was his first. Well, no, not his first conference finals. I shouldn't say that. His second conference finals. That's the first time as a 1 seed. Okay? And that was whenever.
Still young LeBron before Miami, right?
Yes, this was supposed to be LeBron and Kobe. Everybody was like making commercials. Remember the puppet commercial?
Yeah.
Okay, that was that one. You blew the 2-1 lead to Orlando. And you had home court advantage. Okay? So, that's that. The Celtics, when you play them in 2009, his last year in Cleveland, you're up 2-1, and you smoked them in Boston. And then you lose 3 in a row when you were, again, a number 1 seed.
This is what happens when you're the only player putting up numbers for your team. You get tired out. The team don't realize how to trick you, how to find your offensive weakness. This is what happened with Shaq and Kobe. With Detroit, Detroit literally forced Shaq out of the Lakers because they figured out Kobe. Kobe played ISO basketball a lot, That's how Detroit won. They won based off figuring out the number 1 option and stopping them. And that's why Shaq left.
The Miami finals, the Mavs finals, I did root for Miami in that finals because I wanted to see LeBron break through when he was the most hated player in the league that year. Okay? I'll give him credit. He beat the Bulls. That were a really good team. But that Bulls team, I wouldn't say they were better than any of Jordan's teams that he played in the finals. But it's just me.
Well, would you say they're better than the teams Jordan versed in the playoffs before the finals?
Before the finals?
Yeah.
No way are they better than the Knicks and the Pacers. No way are they better than those teams. Not that 2010-11 Bulls team. No way. Okay? Not the one with D Rose winning MVP. No way. And listen, the Mavericks, they had a nice team. You had clearly the better team. And again, you're up 2-1. And you stole a game in Dallas. You're right there.
I personally don't think Pacers were that great of a team back then.
With Reggie Miller, Chris Smalling, Jalen Rose, the Rick Smits,
No.
the McDaniel brothers.
I think the Bulls were a better team in terms of.
No way with D Rose in them. No way.
Yeah.
No.
That D Rose was MVP caliber. He was an MVP.
Then what? Joakim Noah was better than any of those, and
Rick Smits.
Carlos.
Who the fuck is Rick Smits?
Carlos Boozer, who's
Listen, Carlos Boozer.
Taj Gibson, Kirk Heinrich.
Taj Gibson was a good defender too. That team was all.
What?
That was the Knicks' current day. That's the Knicks.
They were better teams though, Joey, that Jordan played. No way.
Rich, no. Rich. That team defensively was better than the Pacers, who literally had no defense. They had no defense.
No.
Yep.
No, there's no way. No, dude. No.
You have an MVP. You have Jimmy Butler, all defense guy.
No, bro.
Joakim Noah even almost made all defense.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Taj Gibson was a great defender
There's
too.
no way.
He was locking up Embiid at 40 years old this year. Taj Gibson locked up Embiid. This year he locked up Embiid at 40 years old. You can't tell me that.
That team was not better than the Knicks and the fucking Pacers of the 90s. There's no way.
100%.
No way.
Yep.
No. Okay, so he blows them, leads them to the Mavericks. Okay, the wins in Miami, good wins. Okay, the young OKC team, nice team, but no way were they.
Young OKC team was good too.
They were good, but they were not better. I mean, when we look at them historically as they evolved, they were a great team, but they're no way better than they were not better than, let's say, the Lakers in '91 with Showtime at that point. No way. Okay, they were not better than. I wouldn't say they were better than the Sonics at that point. No way. They were good, but they were on their way to becoming a good team. The Spurs, that was a good win, right? Ray Allen, shot saved him, arguably, right?
You can say the same with MJ. Kerr saved him. What's the other white guy? Paxton saved him.
Okay. Now and then when you play the Spurs again, they clearly had that team on their mind, and they got blown off the doors. And that's when I think they knew LeBron was leaving Miami. That team was done.
I'm gonna say this.
That team also got old around.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if you're gonna agree or not.
Go.
But personally, that Spurs team was better than any of MJ's finals opponents. 100%. You can. If you disagree, I don't know what to say because.
Well, Kawhi was young.
Still a great player. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker.
Duncan Ginobili.
I don't want to hear Duncan was old because he had a great year that year. He was good that year. They had the best ball movement in the league, best offensive system in the league. That Spurs team was good as fuck.
Let me ask you this.
People argue that's a top 5 team of all time.
Let me ask you this. Does Michael Jordan give them a better series than LeBron did that year? Swap Michael Jordan and LeBron on the Heat. Does Michael Jordan give them a series? Because LeBron's team won one game in that series.
I'm going to say this. I think he'd have the same result as LeBron.
I think it's more competitive in that series. I do. I think Jordan at least wins 2 games against that Spurs team. Maybe pushes him to a Game 7 again.
Kawhi on MJ.
Michael Jordan basically beat a lot of people one-on-one.
Kawhi on MJ. Kawhi has a 7-foot wingspan, 6'8".
Jordan's got freakish athleticism too now.
Okay, but the wingspan adds to that. Okay, you had LeBron yelling "fuck" when he freaking Kawhi subbed in. The Kawhi was a special. He was a specimen. Dude.
No, he was.
And I think he'd make MJ struggle a little. I'm sure MJ would still score on him. Mm-hmm. But I think Kawhi would have for sure fought versus him. 100%.
Okay, then he goes back to Cleveland. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was happy when he beat the 73-9 Warriors, but I got to look at the 3 losses he had with them. The first one, I know Kyrie and Kevin Love were banged up, right? Again, you go back to Cleveland, you're up 2-1 on that team with no finals experience at all. This was before Curry made himself a name. He was starting to make a name of himself. Rookie head coach at the time. Draymond and Clay, they were nobody at that point. Okay, they had a nice Cinderella run. You have a 2-1 lead on them in Cleveland. And then you lose 3 straight. I mean, again, like...
Wait, 73-9? I thought...
No, the year before 73-9. Oh, the first year he's in Cleveland, when Kevin Love and Kyrie hurt.
Yeah.
You lose 3 straight, and you have a 2-1 lead. Game 3 on your home court.
Let's not forget who caused that. Not LeBron. J.R. Smith.
No, not that year.
No?
Not that year. The first Golden State Finals run. Joey.
And how much did LeBron average that year?
He averaged a lot, but like...
What do you want him to do then? What do you want him to do?
But
he's doing all he could. The team is letting him down.
Game 4, you're in Cleveland, and you're getting locked up by Andre Iguodala at that point.
Locked up is not 35 points a game. That's not... first of all, I have a hot take on that. I don't even think it's a hot take. I think everyone knows this. Andre Iguodala is the biggest fraudulent Finals MVP I've ever seen in my fucking life.
I will not disagree with that.
35 points a game. That's locking up LeBron? Like, come on. If that's locking up LeBron, just give him the GOAT fucking conversation already, because that's ridiculous.
Like I said, I can't, like, you're up 2-1, you're up in Cleveland, have the Warriors on the ropes. You should close them out. You have them right where they want them, and then...
Listen, I don't know what more LeBron can do. I mean, this guy is doing all he could. The team is just not that great. The team is letting him down. MJ has Scottie at his side. All right, he had that was defensive era. Mm-hmm. This is a different era where 100 points is the regular. Back then, 80 points is the regular. This is a different era. So MJ at a time, pace was slower. You know, he can score 30 points a game and still win because the pace is slow, defensive era. LeBron has to score 40, and the team lets up 100-plus points, you know? What do you want LeBron to do? It's an offensive era now. Even today's age, everything's offense. You see teams scoring 150 this.
But that team you should have beaten. You had them up 2-1, and you lose 3 straight.
It's not LeBron's fault, in my opinion. Not LeBron's fault. I mean, I don't know what more he could do. This is similar to Luka nowadays, and you say the same thing about Luka, where Luka puts all on his back. Team lets him down.
like Luka, but now they got Kyrie.
When Luka gets swept and averaging 40 points a game in the playoffs, what do you want him to do? You know, he has Tim Hardaway, the fucking shot chucker, Tim Hardaway off the bench shooting 15 shots a game.
I didn't fault Luka that much in the series, but like they really did overachieve and stuff that year. But anyway, back to LeBron.
Okay.
The Golden State KD team. Now.
That team was unbeatable.
I know.
That team.
I know.
I stopped watching NBA for 3
years.
3 straight years. Did not want to mention NBA. I'm glad you got me into football back then.
Thank you,
that was actually
I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
That was football's prime, or one of the primes.
Yep.
But did not watch NBA for 3 years straight because KD took the easy way out.
Yeah.
Can't beat him. Join him. Joined the 73-9 team already beat MJ's Bulls record. He's like he choked the 3-1 lead
on them. I hold that against Durant for his argument.
Choked the 3-1 lead, and he's not like where LeBron averages 40. He averaged like less than 30 points a game. He did not do that great. So he choked the 3-1 lead, joins the Warriors, ruins 3 years of the league. Is like, okay, I feel bad. Let me go to the Nets.
I mean, that's Durant's case. But again, I don't hold him that much against him. But the fact that you only win 1 game in those 2 years, and I know that 1 year they had Kyrie gone, and Kevin Love was your second best option. In that year. And
that team was basically Team USA, that Golden State team.
But, Game 3, you have him on the ropes, and obviously Durant goes down and has a shot, okay? But, if you could get more than 1 game on that team, then that's a miracle. But 1 win, I mean, I'm not saying...
They only won 1 because that was the only one they could fit in. I mean, that was basically a break game for the Warriors, let's be honest here. It was a rest game for the Warriors. Most teams do that. When they're up 3-0, they just...
And then they got swept the next year, which, obviously I know JR had a lot to do with that moment. But LeBron has a chance to go to the line and win the title, but he gives it to George Hill. George Hill, you're going to decide your finals game 1 upset?
Here's the thing about LeBron.
I know he's fast first.
He is not a ball hog like Kobe and MJ, all right? He loves to involve his team. Mm-hmm. He's a team player.
Go ahead.
He's not a player that... that takes the last shot. He's a player that builds up in the fourth quarter, heats up in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
When he sees an opportunity, he's passing to the guy. Whether he sucks or not, you're open, all right? Mm-hmm. If we're playing rec, right, and you're open in the corner, and so there's a double team in front of me, I'm going to kick it out. Why would I freaking put up a contested shot and brick it? It just looks stupid, Mm-hmm. I don't care if you suck at threes or not. Anything is possible, So,
but when that JR situation happens, I understand it was demoralizing in the moment. But if you're the leader of your team, you're like, guys, we got the team in overtime. We can still win this game in overtime. He's kind of like, oh, JR, what did you know?
Well, I'm sure he was telling the team that, and JR just zoned out like the idiot he is.
But you got to tell your team, guys, all right, we got him on the ropes. We're in overtime, right? We could still win this. We have an overtime to win this here. We pushed them to the ropes. We got overtime to do it. They just look deflated. And then you could see the rest of those finals. It was done. And then Durant obviously hit another 3 and, Cleveland and all that stuff. And then they just got blown off the doors. Again, when I look at the big grand scheme of things,
being realistic, even if they won that game if JR actually had a brain, I still think they would have got destroyed.
Yeah.
Because, KD just ruined NBA those years.
But I give you that, though. And then that Lakers bubble championship, I think, is the biggest Mickey Mouse ring ever in the history of the NBA, because literally everybody was basically ready to check out of that bubble, but they were like, okay, just to give the fans what we want, let's just we'll play, but they all checked out.
I see two perspectives on this.
Go.
I see players wanting to, it's more, they have more access to all these equipment, These players want to improve as a player. First of all, I saw Dame in an interview said he doesn't understand people's takes on how it's a Mickey Mouse thing, right? He says that he thinks that was the hardest year to win a ring because how players were so focused since they're all together, the chemistry built with all the team.
Gotcha.
How everyone was so focused and basically played better that year. But I don't know. I just don't see how it's. In my opinion, I don't think it was a Mickey Mouse ring. I really don't. In my opinion.
And then my final point is, like, when we judge the greatest players in the NBA, when we judge GOAT standards in NBA, you cannot have a losing record in the NBA Finals and be the greatest player, in my opinion. You cannot. 6-0 is better than 4-6 at this moment. You can't be. Now, if LeBron gets a 6-6, all right, same titles. Yeah, LeBron's doubled up in appearances. But LeBron, to me, will not pass Michael Jordan unless he gets 7. And he's not getting 3 in his 40s. It's just not happening. Okay? You cannot be a losing record in the finals and be considered the greatest player, in my opinion. That's my mic drop right there.
In my opinion, he has more finals appearances than MJ, who only has, 6?
6, but he won all 6.
Okay, but again, LeBron has, 9?
10?
10? Like, in an offense, offensive era, first the Spurs, one of the greatest teams of all time, okay? The Mavs one was on him. That was the only finals where I will say, admittedly,
that was a big one because he was favored in that series. They had the better team.
I will say, that team was worse too. So, that was on LeBron. Okay? The very first finals he made versus the Spurs.
I don't hold that against him.
That was not on LeBron. His team was shit.
I don't hold that against him.
Really shit.
I don't. But I do hold every other one against him.
The only one I hold against him is the Mavs. Versus the Mavs. 10 final appearances, you're never going to see that from anyone. Anyone, Rich. Never. It's going to be very rare. Because now, talent is getting better and better.
Yeah.
You're seeing different... You saw the Nuggets make the finals and win. The Nuggets. Mm-hmm. When was the last time the Nuggets made the finals before that?
I think that was
no one remembers.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
So...
That's what I'm saying.
We can go back and forth on this, but I'm obviously taking up a lot of time, I have a feeling.
Okay.
But thanks again, buddy, for coming on, man.
Listen, no problem.
You know, what I will do is, I have NFL Hall of Fame finalists to pick. I have kind of deciding the 5 I'm picking for. I know they come out Wednesday night, so I'm going to pick the Hall of Fame finalists. We'll be back with more Loungetime content. Until then, we'll see you guys for the Hall of Fame finalist choices.
Orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and blue skies.
Hey, and we're back on Loungetime with your host, Rich Saile. I want to thank Joey again for coming on and doing this interview with us this week. It's been quite a while since we've had a guest on the show. I figured you guys are sick of me always, taking everything down and all that stuff. But today is also the day that I'm picking the Hall of Fame class. Now, I'm going to make this quick because you guys probably don't want to hear me ramble on anymore. But for those of you that are my fans, I appreciate you willing to stick around and let me hear this. So really, guys... I looked at the modern era finalists, right? I'm going to quickly go through the finalists, and then I'm going to tell you my 5. Quick reason why I've got them there. Okay, I've got Eric Allen. Well, I don't have Eric Allen. I'm going to name the nominees first, then I'm going to pick the finalists. You ready? All right, so we got Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Jari Evans. By the way, Eric Allen and Jared Allen are not related. Dwight Freeney, Antonio Gates, Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Fred Taylor, Reggie Wayne, Patrick Willis, Darren Woodson. Okay, now, my opinion, there's 2 legitimate locks for the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, from this class. And I think anybody that doesn't agree with that, I would call you crazy. To me, the 2 locks are Antonio Gates and Julius Peppers. I think they're both going to get in first ballot. I think they both had enough of careers where they get in on the first try. So those 2 I think are locks. The other 3, this is where it's tough for me because I'm thinking, who do I think were the best of the best in their era that makes me go, okay, they're Hall of Fame worthy. All right? I think it's tough, and I think one of these guys is going to get it. I think it's either Torrey Holt or Andre Johnson. Now, for me, guys... I was back and forth with this because both of these receivers were great, but somebody's got to get in, and I think team success are going to factor in. So I'm going to go, unfortunately, with this. I think both guys are Hall of Famers. I think they're going to get in. I just think one of them is going to get in this year. And I'm going to go with Torrey Holt with Gates and Julius Peppers. I picked Torrey Holt last year. He caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl 34 against the Titans, okay? You really don't have a greatest show on turf without Torrey Holt. And he had his best years without Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk on the downside. So I have to go with Torrey Holt here. I think that, he's going to be, I think he's going to be basically I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he has the resume to do it. And I think that, he was one of those big receivers that played really well in big moments. And he was a great route runner. Had some good, had really good seasons. Even with below average quarterbacks, I think him being part of one of the greatest offenses that you really can't tell without makes him, makes him slightly the nod over Andre Johnson. So Torrey Holt, Antonio Gates, and Julius Peppers. Now, again, this is tough because some of these guys, to me, are really, really close. And I'm going to tell you who I'm between. I'm between Andre Johnson. I'm between Patrick Willis. I'm between Reggie Wayne, debatably, and Devin Hester, I'm debatably between. Dwight Freeney, too. I think Dwight Freeney's going to get in later. I don't see it this round. I want Devin Hester to get in because he was a prolific returner, but special teams has not gotten a lot of favoritism in the Hall of Fame. But if I'm going to be honest, who I think deserves to be on this list, because I got two spots, and I don't think Patrick Willis is going to get in, unfortunately, right now, because I think they're holding the longevity argument against him. But I think Patrick Willis, in my time watching, was one of the best middle linebackers, if not the best middle linebacker. Even when they had Ray Lewis on the end, even when they had Brian Urlacher on the end, the dude was still one of the best linebackers in football. Okay? Andre Johnson, I think, is Hall of Fame worthy. I just don't know if they're going to give it to receivers with a receiving tight end and a pass rusher. I don't know if they're going to do that. And then Devin Hester, I think, is a Hall of Famer because when you look at the returning, his signature moment was the kickoff return in the Super Bowl 41 against the Colts. This is tough. I'm going to go with, all right, you know what? I'm going to do Andre Johnson because the dude was literally one of the best receivers in the 2000s into the 2010s. He put up consistent numbers, and no one's going to convince me from 2008 to 2014 he was not one of the best receivers in football. He was. Okay? Yes, Antonio Brown was coming of age. Yes, Calvin Johnson was in that era. Yes, Larry Fitzgerald was in that era. Okay? But the dude was still in the top 5, and that was a passing era where the dude's a Hall of Famer in my mind. So, I'm going to go with him. And, dang, this is tough because I think Patrick Willis is Hall of Fame worthy, but I'm worried they're going to hold the longevity argument against him. But if you let Tony Baselli in, if you let Terrell Davis in, why not Patrick Willis gets in? So, Devin Hester, unfortunately, gets snubbed. I'm going Patrick Willis. Because I think at that point, he was one of the best middle linebackers in football. Took his team to 3 championship games in a row. Big reason why that defense was great. I'm going to go with him. So, I'm going to go with Antonio Gates, Julius Peppers of the Locks. The other 3, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Patrick Willis. I think it's debatable if you want to say Devin Hester's in. Reggie Wayne makes a good argument. I don't think they're going to get in this time around. And then, guys, I'm going to be honest. A lot of these guys are very good. I don't know if they're Hall of Fame. And I love Rodney Harrison. He played for my Patriots, right? Dwight Freeney will get in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think it will be this year. But I'm going to go with those 5 as my Hall of Fame class finalists for 2024. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys follow the channel with the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell so that you guys can get all the latest updates for the Loungetime channel going forward. We also have an X account at Loungetime Pod. We're building something there. We just got recently 2 followers as of 2 weeks ago. We want to bring a community together, talk football. Hey, you asked me a question, I might even answer it on the show. All right? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys next time on the next episode of Loungetime. Have a great Super Bowl weekend, everybody. And I will see you guys the Sunday night after the Super Bowl or the Monday morning after the Super Bowl. See you guys then, guys.